everybody, welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that... Have you ever just looked at yourself and thought, damn dude, 8 hours? Nah, you need 12 hours of sleep. I don't know what's going on. Every time I look at this damn thing, I'm like, am I sleeping enough? I don't know. Maybe this is why people on camera wear makeup. Today in the news, it looks like one developer's jokes on TikTok might have accidentally got his game removed from the Nintendo eShop. Sunshine Shuffle, a narrative poker indie game with animals, was set to debut on May 24th. And in the time leading up to the release, creator Zalaver Nelson Jr. decided to market his game in a rather unique way. In an interview with Digital Trends about the ordeal, Nelson Jr. shared, "So I was going to talk about the story and the themes and what it was achieving and the tagline I landed on. Hey, it's a game that doesn't teach kids how to gamble. The obvious concern I had was that people were going to get angry at us for playing a game where you have gambling occurring and it looks like a game for kids. So I thought, what if I take that potential negative energy and make that our entire tagline and make it suspicious and weird and something that people can attach to?" And I guess it definitely worked almost too well. Thanks to Nelson Jr.'s TikToks, Nintendo delisted the game 1 day before its release. "I have goofed too close to the sun this time," Nelson Jr. said in a chaotic TikTok video explaining what happened. And yeah, this is definitely one of those lesson learned kind of things, but also there is a lesson learned here because it got this game on a lot more radars. Hell, we're covering it right now. And as they say, all press is good press, so it should come as no surprise then that on Wednesday, the game was put back on the eShop. However, it is still banned in South Korea. I guess their loss. In other news, I'm pretty sure this story might just be for me, but for my other elder millennials out there, man, I'm excited for this one. The 1990s puzzle FMV horror game, The Seventh Guest, is coming to VR. Heralded as a next-gen remake by Vertigo Studios, the original Seventh Guest debuted in 1993 and was just such a good game for the time. It was so innovative that Bill Gates called it the new standard in interactive entertainment. According to PC Gamer, the remake of The Seventh Guest will feature the original story as written by Matthew J. Costello, but will also make creative alterations to the game, with all new puzzles redesigned for VR and some intriguing sounding VR-powered optical illusions. One such VR illusion would be the mansion's ghostly guests. While the original game featured full motion video, aka FMV, the developer Vertigo Studios has utilized volumetric video to bring the actors' performances into the 21st century. Volumetric video is like bullet time from The Matrix, says game director Paul Vandermeer. The actors stand in the middle of a circle while they're being filmed by cameras all around them. The result is a series of meshes with textures that update each frame. According to Vandermeer, you really have that sensation of being in the same room as the actors when viewing the scenes in VR. I loved this game as a kid, and to be able to experience it again, and now in VR, that's gonna be a trip, and another reason for me to use VR. I got all these VR equipment things, but there's only so many games, and most of them are kind of jank, and the ones that are good are few and far between, and so to be able to get a new one based on a game that I already love, I mean, this is big for me, and hopefully a lot of you out there are feeling the exact same way because, you know, if we're gonna do remakes of things, let's get weird with it. Let's do some of this stuff. Speaking of getting weird with it, it's time for your Cren Minute.
Hello everybody, how's it going? It's me, Crendor. Welcome back to the Cren Minute, my once-a-week segment where I talk about whatever I want for a minute. Today, we're talking about the weather because it's getting hotter outside, right? And everybody that lives in like a colder area, they're like, ooh, now I can go outside, it's warmer out and everything, but sometimes it gets too hot, right? Especially if you live in hot areas anyway, like LA and all that stuff, but I want to talk about your favorite weather, because some people, they're like, oh man, it's getting too hot out there, right? And some people, they like the cold, but some people hate the cold. So I'm curious, what is your favorite weather? And I actually talked about this on the youtube.com/Cox and Crendor podcast, the best podcast out there, Cox and Crendor. Where am I? Oh, yeah. So I like the changing seasons the most, but a lot of times I get tired of them, right? There's summer and it's nice and warm at the start. It's, you know, you're like, it's sunny out, getting my vitamin D, go for walks. But by the end of it, I'm like, dude, it's like hot all the time. Like, I just want fall to get here. Then fall gets here and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. You got like pumpkin patches and apple cider and all that stuff and Halloween. And then by the end of fall, I'm usually like, I don't know. I'm ready for winter, right? It's getting a little like, it's like some days it's cold, some days it's kind of warm, whatever. And then the next season you get winter and it's all holidays and everything. And it's like, oh, it's snowing out and everything's like, lulu. That's what happened. The holidays sound like lulu. And then you get to the end of winter and the snow's all like melty and sludgy and stuff. And you're like, oh man, I just want it to be spring. And then spring comes, you're like, yeah, you got spring rain and everything. And then spring starts going like, oh, it's going to be warm one day. And then it's cold and then it's warm and then it's cold. And you're like, dude, I just want it to be warm. And then you repeat the cycle over. This has been like a 2-minute Kren minute, but I think the weather deserves it. So let me know your favorite weather down below. See ya.
Thanks, Crendor. Anyway, this is the time I remind you on a Friday, hey, we got a Patreon, patreon.com/Jesse Cox. We got a Discord over there you can go visit. We got the Cox clips. We got TikToks. We got the whole thing. If you want to see it all, literally just go to jessecox.com. All the links are there. You can follow me everywhere from that one website. That is it for me, though, and I'll see you all Monday for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.